Intro music.
Come on in.
A star for the ages for Tony Gwynn, number 3,000.
They have acquired Eric Johnson and Fernando Tatis Jr. from the White Sox in exchange for James Shield.
Welcome to Slam Diego!
My name is James, and this is the Brothers Padre. Now, for you longtime listeners out there, you might be saying to yourself right now, hey, this podcast is sounding a lot more handsome. And you're right. And the reason why that is because my co-host Joey decided he was sick and couldn't come to the mic today. Now, I think it has more to do with that his young child is sick and he's trying to be a responsible adult. Whatever, the Padres should take priority on all things. Maybe that's why I'm single and alone. But let's continue on with this week of the Padres baseball. A lot to talk about and a lot of good things. So, Game 1, we are in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We ended up winning this game 7-3. Hugh Darvish turned in a quality start of 6 innings. Gave up 3 runs, striking out 5 and only walking 1. Fantastic start. And all in all, can't complain about the whole game. Offense was there, pitching was there. The next game, we ended up losing 7-6 in extra innings. Sean Manaea, again, quality start. 6.23 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, and 3 balls. Our bullpen just gave up 4 runs in the end of the game, and just it's really frustrating. I'll talk about it at the end. And Game 3, Sunday's game, it was delayed an hour and a half because for some reason people who live other places in this country where it rains continue to build ballparks without roofs, and it's just, at this point, I think it's rude. Listen, don't force our great players from San Diego to play in your rainy weather. Just because you choose to live someplace that isn't of top quality shouldn't be our fault. But we ended up winning that game 5-2. Joe Musgrove gave one of his best pitching performances so far of the year. I know I say that pretty much every week, but he pitched 7 innings, giving up only 1 run, striking out 8, and walking 0. I personally think Joe Musgrove is on the way to the Cy Young. Now, Game 4, we traveled to Cleveland. And because, again, it's that part of the world, the rain didn't stop. So Game 4 didn't happen on the day it was supposed to because it was rained out. Again, build a roof. We have the technology. Anyway, so then that meant we had to play a doubleheader. The first game, we won 5-4, and it was Mike Clevenger's return to the San Diego Padres after a year and a half after having Tommy John surgery of being out. Now, he was a bit rusty. He wasn't very efficient with his pitches, but he did pitch 4 2/3 innings, giving up 3 runs, striking out 4, and only walking 3. It was a gutsy performance. You could tell he was really nervous, but he was still very competitive, and at the end, he got really emotional in his post-game interview, and he teared up a little bit because he was afraid he was never going to pitch again. And you got to admire a comeback story, and I think he'll do very well for us for the rest of the year. Now, the second game of the doubleheader, we ended up losing 6-5. Mackenzie Gore pitched 5.2/3 innings, only giving up 1 run, striking out 2 and walking 2. He didn't have command of his fastball for the majority of the game, so he relied on his curveball and his off-speed stuff, but he was battling. He looked like a veteran out there. You whatever's not working, you pound what does and you dominate, and that's what he did. He dominated I was about ready to say Indians, but the Guardians now, and unfortunately, again, the bullpen gave up 5 runs, and we lost in extra innings. Our bullpen is a problem at this point. And the way I see it, there's really only maybe 2 bullpen pieces that are the biggest problems. Ladelson Lamet and Craig Stammen. I don't know about you, but every time Lamet takes the mound, I have no confidence. He still has velocity. He just seems to have no movement on his pitches, and he's not fooling anybody. And it's so weird watching him pitch. And every time he comes up, your gut hurts a little bit because you know he's just going to walk a ton and give up hits. And it really is, I think, as a whole, the San Diego Padres should give up on the Lamet experiment and just say, you know what, thank you for your service. It's time to part ways. I could be wrong. They could turn him around. But as of right now, as a outsider who, of course, on the internet, that means I'm free to judge everything, and I say he's done. The other guy is Craig Stammen, and I legitimately think he is the last casualty of Rothschild. They overused him, and towards the end of last year, he had nothing. None of his stuff had movement. None of his stuff was sharp. None of his stuff could find its spots. And this year, he's pretty much the same thing. And I think it's time either we let him rest for a week and not pitch him, send him down to the minors just to get a break, or it's time we get rid of him. It really is. It's sad because he did a lot of good stuff for us, but so I think the Padres need to get some middle relievers. Maybe trade a couple bullpen. Maybe trade a couple of our people in the AAA to get a bullpen help. Maybe a Capasano or something. Now Joey thinks we should trade Manny Machado for a couple relievers. I think he's wrong about that. But as you know, longtime listeners, Joey's takes are often wrong, and I think the Padres can do better by keeping Machado on board. So I don't want it to be ending on a downer because there's a lot of great things happened this week. Trent Grisham was getting hits. Ha-Seong Kim got a home run and got several hits. Cronenworth continues to hit the ball, and Eric Hosmer proves that he can also hit in the month of May, which is the first time I've ever seen him do that since he's a Padre. And Manny Machado, I think we're looking at the front runner for the MVP. I think Musgrove is currently the front runner for the Cy Young, and Machado is the front runner for the MVP. Both absolute dominating right now. So I think the other big takeaway we can take away from this week is we now have 6 super high-quality starters. Nick Martinez has proven to be a great starter. I'm currently watching the game right now. He just pitched 7 innings, only giving up run. We have 6 starters that could all be 1, 2, and 3 stars at any other team. That is something I've never seen another team ever have. So I'm a lot to look forward to. We just have to shore up a little bit, maybe shore up our offense, the 7, 8, 9 hitters a little bit better, but all in all, the Padres are in a good place. We're only 1 game away from the Dodgers, and we're in top 5 most runs scored. We're looking good, folks. We're looking good. Now, last week, our predictions were Joey said we were going to be 3-2. He was right. I mean, even a broken clock is right twice a day. I said 5-0. I'm more optimistic and a more cheerful person in general than Joey. So that's why I chose that. But this next week, we are going to play 4 games against the Miami Marlins and 3 games against the Chicago Cubs. I personally think we are going to take go 5-2. I think our bullpen might be a little tired already because we had to play that doubleheader. There's no days off, so I think we'll be a little tired, and we're going to lose one of the Marlins and one of the Cubs. Now, Joey texted me his prediction, and he says 0-7. He thinks the Padres are washed up, and we're not going to achieve anything else, and we should all just start watching soccer. I don't know how somebody can be so negative all the time, but you know what? He's my brother, and I'm obligated to, to love him, I guess. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is our predictions this week. Thank you for listening. This, as you know, that we are on Spotify, we're on YouTube, we are on all places you find good, fine podcasts like this one. And until next week, go Padres.
There it is! Oh, doctor! You can hang a star on that, baby.